I'm a human being. I'm entitled to my opinion. That's why I'm making videos. I'm wearing a really comfy shirt today. Hello, this is a video that's going to kind of explain the different ways of outlining. You know, there's hundreds, probably thousands of creative ways you can outline. You just kind of have to find out what's best for you, what you work with, what you're comfortable with, because you most definitely want to be comfortable while you're writing your book. You know, I think it's a given what an outline is. It literally lays out everything that goes on in your story. An outline is what you do to set your story out before you start drafting. A lot of programs also call this pre-writing, and this video will give 5 different methods, but I do suggest doing even more research than what this video gives. Okay, one way to do the first point, it's called plot points. This kind of outline is character driven. And this, you can kind of use this outline for all different genres or types. That includes standalones, series, or fantasy, mystery, nonfiction. You can kind of do this with anything. And basically what it is you kind of have this big timeline and you have these circles, which are your points. You have the start, and then you have your first point, which is the first big event that really happens, you know. And then you have this space in between, and then you have another point, and that is called the first pinch point, which is where something bad happens and kind of sets the character back. It's the first setback. And then you will have, after that first point, you have your midpoint, which is where your character starts to be like, okay, I might actually have to do something about this problem that's going on. I might actually have to defeat this overlord, or whatever. I write fantasy. That's why I said overlord. And then after that, there's pinch 2, which is another point, which is yet again another setback. And then there's this. And then the next point is called this black part, the black point, and it's where the character thinks all is lost and he sucks and that he is worse off. He should have never done a bunch of things. And everybody seems to be turning on him. Whatever that is, just things are not looking too great for him. And then there's, of course, your third point, which is where he's like, you know what? I'm going to defeat this bad guy anyway, and I'm going to kick his butt. That's what he does. And then that also includes the final battle, and then there's the end. In those spaces in between those points, you build off of how different scenes will build up to those big points. I hope Dad puts a picture on the screen that kind of represents what I said, because it looks kind of confusing. It sounds confusing when I just speak it all out. So like I said, you want to fill in those little spaces in between each point. The danger to doing this is that your story can end up becoming rigid or even short and flat. You know, I've heard of that happening. And the big thing you want to focus on when you do this is that when you are ending up writing and you're going off this outline, you need to make sure that your story's not going along too quickly, because there are only a few points, and if you don't fill in the empty areas enough, then it's really not going to be much. It might as well be a short story instead of a whole novel. The second point is called the mirror moment, and that's where when you think of the climax or a middle scene, where the character realizes he has to change. And this is kind of where the theme of your story starts, and then you build off of that. Like, okay, how did the character get to that point, and what happens after that? So you start from the middle, and you branch outward, which I've heard of people doing this in pretty well success. The third one is actually a plot formula. This particular outline strategy is best for crime or mystery kind of novels. Standalone novels for sure, because it is story driven, so there's not a lot of internal changes in a character. It's more like what goes on or on the outside. But basically what you're thinking of is like, you want to condense your novel into a short story. I think the formula is 6,000 words. No, 6,000. Yeah, 6,000 words. So the first 15, so you're kind of going to write a little short story of your book, and then you're going to write the bigger thing, because that's the outline. The first 1500, you're going to introduce like the villains and the cast and kind of what the problem is. But at the end of those 15,000 words, you're going to add a unique plot twist that's going to want people to go to the second 1500 words. And in the second 1500 words, you want the trouble to be double. And you also want to end that with a plot twist as well. That means the tensions need to be high here. You definitely want a character to be scared at least a few times. And of course, end it with a plot twist. And then it goes to the third 15,000 words, which is where finally the character is going to make some progress. Okay, he's going to get something done. It's going to kind of go his way. And then of course at the end you want to end it with a plot twist, people going on to the next area. And the fourth 1500 words, and the last, is where the character is going to get his black moment, or where he's going to feel like everything's hopeless, and also where he's going to win, also where he's going to triumph over whatever problem happens. And then of course you want to end it with a little twist that kind of makes readers gasp. And then that little short story will kind of outline the whole entire story you need to write when you start writing your 80,000 word novel. The fourth way you can outline is what I call hard copies, and this is there's numerous amount of ways that could fit in here. This includes doodling out your story, actually drawing pictures if that's what you like to do. You could write paragraphs that kind of outline parts of your story. Posters, I've heard of people doing note cards. I've even heard of a graph, which I don't understand. A hard copy outline is best if you're kind of collaborating with another writer. You both kind of put your ideas out there where you can visibly see. The best thing about this part is it's actually the most fun. You also can put a lot of your spins on it. People like to use multicolored things. But the biggest setback is that you can get stuck very easily. And what I mean by getting stuck is you don't stop the outline. You just end up doing more pre-production. If you're writing a paragraph, for example, I know a certain writer who does this. You won't stop outlining. You won't ever get along to writing your novel. This has happened before, and that's kind of a risk you run doing this if you have too much fun. It's also a real trigger hole for self-doubt. When you see everything and you're having a bad day, then that, of course, is going to make you, feel like crap, which is another reason you need a fan base. Then there's the fifth one, which is where you just don't do an outline. This is growing more and more popular as writing is becoming more and more popular, is a more and more popular industry to get into. And this is where you are literally on your own. You just start writing right away. Some writers will absolutely disagree with this. Other writers will say you actually have more success doing this. A quote is, "We write best when our subconscious is at work." So you just start from the beginning, you're like, let's go. And the thing is I do this. I don't use an outline, and I've actually been pretty good at what I've done. The problem with doing this is you open up a door to so many problems, such as plot holes, character development issues, scene issues, unnecessary scenes. You could have too much romance or too much action, or you put in scenes that are unnecessary, or you might emphasize something too much. It just ends up you might actually have to rewrite the book 8 different times if you do this way. Which is why a lot of people suggest that you have experience, that it's not for beginners. You need to know your stuff, and you need to definitely know what your story is going to be about, and you just shoot for it. Also, writer's block happens a lot more if you go this route. I know from personal experience. The reason I do the no outline area is because I absolutely hate outlining. I think it's tedious and annoying, and I know that I can do it. Now, that is my personal opinion. I know lots of successful, even more successful writers who have done outlines, and seriously, I see the point in it. I wish I could do it. It would make my job a lot easier. I'm too annoyed at it, and I'm not patient enough for it. And as a writer, I definitely have to find patience somehow. So there it is, the 5 ways of outlining. I also gave you my little spiel of opinion, but that's just how I work, and I'm a human being. I'm entitled to my opinion. That's why I'm making videos. So thanks for watching, and go ahead and check out the rest of my stuff. Let's hang out on the internet, okay? I have a blog on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and of course there's here on YouTube. All those links should be in the description. Please hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up, because that would absolutely make my day. Okay. If I am any help to you at all, then please go ahead and check out the rest of my stuff. I mean, that would also make me happy. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. I want to have you watch my videos again, so please come back.